All right, hey everybody, we're back with another news feed. Remember, I publish these things every single day, sometimes even twice a day, depending on the mood I'm in and what kind of news there is. So every day, something out there for you, hit the subscribe button. First one, kicking off right here, GM hangs on to existing ICE platforms, and we love this, okay? A lot of people are going to be like, oh, that sucks, they need new stuff. No, we love this. So they say right on here that, EVs kind of slowing down, but they're focusing still on EV stuff. But when it comes to their ICE engines, currently General Motors seems to prefer reskinning its ICE internal combustion engine portfolio rather than expanding money and development time into introduced fully redesigned models indicates a steady push towards EV only lineup continues, blah, blah, blah. We love the fact that they are not putting more effort into the ICE engines. Why? Because they're proven now and they're reliable and we love them and we don't want them changed again. We don't want to go through what Toyota's going through right now. We don't want to go through what Ford goes through. We don't want to go through this crap. Leave them alone for years. They are flawless. Okay, right now they are perfect. One example is GM trend is to heavily modify existing ICE platforms instead of creating new ones from the ground up, which for its mid-sized trucks. We love that. We don't want new motors. New motors are 3 years of misery, headaches, and stuff. I like them because that gives me a lot of stuff to talk about on the channel, but as consumers, we don't want new. The new is not good. Both current generations of the Colorado and the Canyon use the reworked variant of the 31XX platform, first debuted 14 years ago in the 2011 truck models. Okay, with its updated known version as the 31XX2. Okay, but it's 14 years of bugs worked out of it. It has been solved. It is doing fantastic. Now, every manufacturer has some issues still, but the platform is rock solid. Even in the crossovers, the next generation Traverse, Arcadia, Enclave are all underpinned by an updated and reworked variants of the C1 platform, now known as the C1-2. General Motors is also using the C1-2 platform for vehicles entirely sold outside the United States, such as the second generation Cadillac XT5. This is good. We want this. We like this. Yet another example of the platform is the E2 platform for the Equinox and the Terrain. It just goes on and on, talks about them, and it's going to be in the next gen CT6. While it's now more widespread, platform recycling isn't a new strategy for General Motors, with the Cadillac CT4 easily recognizable as a reskinned Cadillac ATS built on the exact same Alpha platform. The Alpha platform is an excellent architecture that didn't require updating to stay relevant. Two models have the identical wheelbase despite the CT4 being slightly longer. CT4 even uses the same body stamping as the ATS. We love this. This is what Toyota does too. They got the TNGAF whatever platform that they have that every single truck that they make now uses. Okay, there's a plan to this. We love this. It says right here, in short, GM now follows a similar pattern for all of its ICE engines. The automaker redesigns the body, overhauls the cabin, swaps powertrains in most cases, but not always, adds new technology, integrates some global B electronic architecture to support new tech, improves noise and vibration and harshness, and is ready to roll out a new model. The existing ICE platforms at General's disposal are tried and true. That is the key takeaway here. They are tried and true, and that's what we want. And it's likely the company believes that investing in new ICE platforms at this point in time is pointless expense, with the clock ticking down to an all-electric future, whether it arrives in a few years or a few decades. And it's a very good point. Hopefully it's a few decades. Hopefully it's at least 50 years from now. I'm 50 right now. I'd like to be 100 before we see where it's all EV only, no more ICE engines. So, but excellent article right there. We're moving on from there. Megacasting. God. All right, so gigacasting, megacasting, it's ridiculous, but this article shows you here, I've done full videos on this before and how megacasting and gigacasting is bad, but it simplifies the process, okay? So rather than having to bolt parts together, Tesla's the one that started this. Here it is, their gigacasting practice here that they do with their Model Y, their Cybertruck. They're doing it all over. What it's going to do is it's going to basically require 70% less parts to be needed. Okay, one megacasting replaces 70 to 100 parts, says Volvo car spokesman. This means that all activities connected to producing, shipping, and assembling these parts are removed. Megacasting doesn't just cut production costs, it also creates parts that are lighter than the equivalent cast and stamp pieces. This combined is a boon to manufacturers of battery electric vehicles looking for ways to decrease the mass while increasing the EV's model profit margins. Okay, let that sink in. Driving range and performance, but it comes at a cost. You can see these parts. Okay, the problem is that when they get in an accident, they are totaled. You cannot replace the parts very well. So insurance companies are literally totaling out these vehicles on a regular basis for even the smallest fender benders. Fender benders, that stuff comes back on us as as a consumer. It has to buy these insurances, so it's ridiculous. Still, it says right here, there are perils to megacasting, Through casting, a single structure piece mitigates the risk of potential human or robot error during the assembly of multiple piece component. It also means that there's limited leeway for error. Automakers that use traditional methods to create vehicle structures can quickly and inexpensively address any or an individual part or assembly issue while salvaging the unaffected material. However, a significant flaw in megacasting structure requires scrapping the entire piece. And you can see whole body pans here, whole everything. This concern extends to repair costs as well. Castings have very limited capability to deform in a collision. They're going to fracture. Okay, when this happens, the casting becomes irreparable. For cars with mega structures, this means that even a relatively minor impact can have substantial implications. Instead of replacing a small component, you're replacing the entire structure. So it's not that it can't be repaired, but the cost of repairing it is so high, the vehicle will more than often end up getting totaled. Those costs come back to us as consumers. We pay that. So gigacasting, megacasting sucks, and they're all going to it. Tesla is the one that kicked it off. Now you got Toyota on board, Volvo, Ford, GM. Every single one of them are going to this sort of structures, and they're an absolute joke. Very disappointing. Moving on to this one. Good news for Toyota. Yes, here we go. Finally, it is nice to report good news on Toyota. This comes from Core 77. Toyota does the right thing in suppliers and supports their suppliers while other manufacturers look the other way. Okay, we know it's a bad time to be an automotive supplier. Okay, their cost went up, their material cost, their labor's gone up. The auto manufacturers are paying them less than they did before and fighting them tooth and nail and all this kind of stuff. And the suppliers are the key thing. Okay, and it says right here, well, those rising profits roll in for car makers. One supplier after another has gone bankrupt. They're dropping like flies. And like I said, record profits for the car makers, but the supplier companies are dying off fast, and they're all hurting really bad. We just earlier this week talked about how one of Toyota's main suppliers lost $190 million this year, and they're closing their doors. But says in this particular one right here, right here has automobile manufacturing made in Germany so successful that it has secured us as a society economically, meaning that these countries, they make up something like 60% of their workforce in that country. They can no longer be said that today while costs rise for suppliers, we hardly experience any concessions in our delivery obligations to the automotive industry. Okay. This makes Toyota's current approach all the more astonishing significance as Klein, while German and French car makers in the regions refuse to absorb rising costs, okay, or give any help to the suppliers. Toyota is currently supporting its suppliers with billions, in order to enable salary increases and thus develop and protect its own supply chain. Toyota has been absorbing these justified price increases since 2022, Klein adds. Toyota is now demonstrating impressively that partnership based on cooperation and fairness is sustainable and economical in the long term for everyone involved. And the Japanese car manufacturer is actually living up to its own advertising slogan, "Nothing is impossible." So, Toyota is taking care of their suppliers. They are bending over backwards. They're sucking up their loss. You can see providing 60% of the jobs here in Germany. And this is a big deal. And Toyota is stepping up the game where we got stupid like Stellantis, you got Ford, and you got everyone knocking down their suppliers every chance they get and trying to rip them off any way they can. Toyota is stepping up and has for the last 2 years quietly that we don't hear about, and has been taking care of their suppliers and eating some of their costs. Well done, Toyota. Very well done. That ends it for us for today. Thanks for watching.